We are live. We're live, everybody. It is Rick Jorgensen and Angela Giles with me here, of course. And we are here presenting Twitter Done Right. And that, of course, Angela, is in direct contrast with Twitter Gone Wrong, right? Which we've talked about. I kind of like Twitter Gone Wrong because I think if we go through everything you could do possibly wrong with Twitter, then we know what not to do. But we're going to talk a lot about tonight about what you can do with Twitter, what you should be doing with Twitter, how to get the most out of it. And I'm so excited, Angela, to have you here in presenting this. Folks, I got to tell you that Angela is absolutely a bona fide expert at Twitter and in the world of Twitter and everything that you could possibly want to know about it. I feel, it's funny, Angela, because I have to admit, of course I've been on Twitter for a number of years, but I've not done a lot with it. Certainly I know it really well, but I haven't done a lot with it. And just reading through everything that you've written about it and looking at all your videos, I have learned so much about Twitter, much more than I ever knew before. So I'm excited about tonight.
Well, I'm glad that you're excited about tonight. I'm excited about tonight, too. I don't know if I can, totally do a complete brain dump, but I'm definitely going to give you guys all some really great information to take home and really get started and really get your Twitter account rocking and rolling, build connections with influential people in your niche, find hungry buyers that you can build connections with that will become your friends and will ultimately buy from you and really get your Twitter account up to 20,000. And our goal is to get it there in 90 days. So I'm ready to go, Rick.
Wow, that is just that number is just so amazing to me. But I know you've done it. I'm going to show on the screen here in a minute kind of where you stand. I did a screenshot of your Twitter page, landing page, and we're gonna see that in a minute. But I thought before I got into what we're going to talk about tonight and what everybody's going to learn tonight, I want to just quickly introduce myself because I know there's a lot of people that are here live tonight, and it looks like, which is going to be really exciting, we're going to max the lines out tonight. But I want to introduce myself to those that are watching both the video and, of course, here live tonight because a lot of people don't know who I am. Probably maybe they don't even care who I am. But Angela and I have worked together for quite a while now. We have a number of different projects that we work on together. I have been in Internet marketing for the past 15 years. I do it professionally. I've run campaigns for divisions of IBM, divisions of Microsoft, campaigns for DirecTV. So I'm very, very familiar with the online space. I've been specifically focusing in the social media area on Facebook for the last 4 or 5 years. I consider myself to be a, quote-unquote Facebook expert. I'm not going to use the word guru just because I don't like it, but that's really my area of expertise is Facebook and all things Facebook. And Angela and I do a number of different training programs that Facebook it takes the lead on. So I'm really excited tonight, though, about kind of jumping into this topic of Twitter and really drilling down on how to maximize, really, how to maximize and get the most out of Twitter. So let me just walk through, Angela, what we're really going to drill down on tonight. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is how to amass a large following of new ideal clients, right? And I think the key word here is ideal. How to average 19 hot new prospects a day. I like this. Drooling for your products. Drooling for your products. Doesn't matter what your product is, they're going to be drooling for it, right?
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Yeah, exactly, right. And this one's especially exciting, how to quadruple your income in 90 days using Twitter. And I know, Angela, that you have some coaching clients that you've worked with and you've been able to help them achieve this, right?
Yes, I have, actually. In fact, I have one client that's amazing. I think not on Twitter specifically, just a fun fact is she has 1 million hits on YouTube, I think, for some of her videos. She's amazing. She's a vocal singer. But yes, absolutely, she quadrupled her income, and a huge strategy of hers was using Twitter. So absolutely, and I have several other clients as well that we've done this with, but I always like to brag about her because I think she's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some people on that don't seem to, hold on a second here.
That what?
Let me just answer this real quick. That aren't getting sound, which means they haven't dialed in. They're thinking they can get it from their computer. So,
yes. Just for your information, we had you dial in via your phone as well, just because the recording software we're using to record everything, both of our voices, since we're doing this in an interview fashion, we are doing it this way. So that's why we're having you call in and dial in. Plus, it just makes for a better experience. I think the recording sounds better. It's higher quality.
Yep, absolutely. So, okay, great. And then finally, we're going to drill down on how to better connect with your customers and build connections with new JV partners, business associates, which, of course, leads to long-term profitable relationships. So we'll talk about that as well. So now what I'd like to do is, who is Angela Giles? Who is Angela Giles? Well, other than a terrific person and my partner and friend, she is a Twitter expert, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight. I've got this screenshot of Angela's Twitter account for a specific reason, and I want to highlight over here on the right-hand side, I want to highlight how many followers Angela has, 27,867, okay? 27,867 people follow Angela. This number here right above that are the people that she follows, 27,767. We'll talk more about that because these numbers, there has to be a balance between these two numbers with Twitter. We're not going to talk about it right now, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. But Angela is absolute, I call her the Twitter queen, which sounds kind of bizarre, but I like to call her that because she really is a Twitter expert. She knows everything there is to know just about Twitter, and we're going to talk about that tonight. But it's very exciting to be able to work with Angela in regards to Twitter because I know that pretty much anything I can throw at her in regards to Twitter and about doing any kind of campaign, or if we're working on something where we're going to use Twitter as a promotional tool ourselves and things that we're doing, or for our clients, that Angela absolutely by far and away is the go-to person. So I'm very excited about that. So Angela, I think one of the first things I want to drill down on tonight is why Twitter. Of all the social media platforms, why Twitter? And I'm going to just kind of give it a little bit of a setup. Then I want you to kind of bring a couple of other facts, fun facts in here that people should know, okay?
Sure, absolutely.
So just overall, 55 million tweets per day, okay? 55 million tweets per day. So over 50 million tweets every single day on Twitter. Absolutely amazing amount of activity. Right now there's over 105 million registered users on Twitter. And that grows, this is an amazing number, Angela, that grows by 300,000 new users per day. It is unquestionably, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's unquestionably the next to Facebook, it's the next largest social media platform that's being used, worldwide. So, Angela, how about a couple other little fun facts on Twitter that maybe people don't know?
Well, here's something that's really cool. The sticky rate, the bounce rate, if you will, on Twitter is amazing. People stay on there for several minutes versus other platforms. So I think that's huge, especially when you're putting out like blog posts and things like that. It's a proven fact that if someone's coming from Twitter to your blog, they'll stay on your blog longer versus coming from Facebook or YouTube or something of that nature. The other thing that I found absolutely amazing as I started using Twitter is that the average income of a Twitter user is higher than that of a Facebook user. So although Facebook is the #1 social networking platform, if you're really truly looking to make some really good sales, you may really want to consider using Twitter because technically people have more income to spend. Now, the other funny thing is, I don't know if you've seen the news today, but look at Justin Bieber. He put out to, 19 million Twitter followers today to call him on his phone number, and some poor grandma is getting the phone calls now. It's hilarious. So it definitely is a fun, engaging tool to use, and it spreads like wildfire. I love it because it's so instantaneous. You can get things out there. I mean, I'll go use Twitter. I sit on the debates. You know, the debates have been going on, and watch people say their different things with little hashtags. I'm on there having fun, you know, making little comments, and it's fun to just have. It's a great tool. It's a blast. So, anyways, before I digress, go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say, I thought Angela was just going to kind of run away with it there and pretty much just give the entire presentation. I don't even need to move slides forward. So, yeah, no, that's great. So Angela, I'm going to go ahead and start moving these slides forward. So let's drill down on this first topic that we want to talk about, getting ideal followers. And really the first key to this, right, is finding influential people to follow, right?
Right, absolutely. Now, this is key. Finding influential people to follow. This is how you really start building your Twitter account. There's one simple tool that I use hands down. Of course, you can use Twitter itself, but my favorite tool is Twello, Twellow. It's the yellow pages of Twitter. You can go in there.
And here it is, Angela, right here on the screen.
Yep, there it is. It's awesome. And here's what I like about Twello. There's several things. There's different categories, like you can see here, recreation, sports, entertainment, society, and culture, and it goes on and so forth. But typically what happens here is you can come up with your keyword for your niche. So say that your niche is basketball. You know, I'm just making that up, but you can type in basketball and then do a search. And anybody that has basketball in their bio will come up. And it always comes up with the most influential, the person that has the most followers in that particular keyword functionality or in that search. So the great news is that you can find influential people in Twello just using the keywords that participate in with your niche. If you're a gardener, if you're a network marketer, if you're an online marketer, if you like old cars, if you're an attorney, I mean, there's just a million different ways. So there's two things here that you need to be concerned with. One is obviously to put it in your keyword and find influential people to start following and engaging with. And number two, create your own Twello account and make sure that your bio is keyword rich, meaning you put keywords in that really relate to what and who you are and what your business offers.
So just so that we're clear, Angela, so when you're setting up your Twitter account, or if you already have it set up, a really good idea is to make sure that the little bio that you've written about yourself has all of the key words in it that relate to your niche, right, that relate to what you're doing from a business perspective. So when people are looking for people to follow in your niche, in your market area, you're going to come up as a result of them using like this type of search tool, right?
Absolutely. That's really critical. But you also create an account in Twello as a separate functionality, and in that bio you also use keyword rich specific things that relate to your niche. Right.
Great. Okay. So any other little tips on we're going to talk more about finding the right kind of prospects, et cetera, type thing. So we're going to deal with that more here in a minute. But this is kind of, other than the basics, which we aren't going to cover tonight. And by the way, the basics are covered in the Twitter Done Right ebook that we'll talk about later. But in the course, the basics of getting your account set up and the right way to do that and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Over and above that, this is really kind of one of the first key critical steps, right, in establishing yourself and really laying that foundation to create success for, you and your business on Twitter, right?
Absolutely, because here's what you want to do. With Twello, you want to find, a good 5 to 10 really influential people in your niche. and begin following them, and then go onto their Twitter account and start following the people that are following them. And also look at the people that the influential leaders in your niche are following themselves, and start following people, because what you will find is as you're following people, a good rule of thumb is 35% of them will follow you back. And that's very realistic. It's not high in the sky pie numbers, and it's not like down in the dumps numbers. It's a good realistic number. So the more people you follow that are following influential leaders in your niche, you're going to find that they're all in your niche and in your area, so then you can start building relationships with them. The other tool that I really highly recommend is Twitter itself. Use their new Connect tool that's on Twitter, and you can see that when you log into your Twitter account, and that gives you some great ideas with people to connect with.
Okay, great, fantastic. So we've laid the foundation here in getting ideal followers. We're now on track with that. Let me just throw in kind of a Twitter tip, right? First Twitter tip of the night. And I think some of these are really key for people to understand because, Twitter gets a little bent out of shape if you have a lot more people following you than who you're following, right?
To some degree. I mean, basically you can't, follow a whole bunch of people and then try to follow more and not have very many followers. That's where they really get bent out of shape.
Right. And so, again, we talk about here on the screen, Twitter only allows a 5% difference, right, between the amount of people you're following and the amount of people following you.
Right, and people will find that when they get to that 2,000 mark, that's really the hump that you have to get over. You really need to make sure you're right within that ratio. Otherwise, you'll never get over that 2,000 mark. And I have 7 free videos that discuss all of this on my blog, angelagiles.com/blog. You can go download if you haven't already and really go through that, and it goes into detail about that specific 5% thing right there.
Right, exactly. And then kind of this final point here, and this is a really important one, never follow more than 100 to 150 people a day until you have over 5,000 Twitter followers, right?
Right, absolutely. I mean, I never stretch it just because you don't want to get your account shut down, especially if you're brand new. And if you follow hundreds and hundreds of people in a 24-hour period, I mean, you'll get shut down. It happens all the time. So you need to be really careful and really realistic with what you're doing.
Yeah, and should we put out just kind of a little warning? What's your feeling about, because there's certainly services, there's even some automated tools I know that will add followers to your account. What's your feeling about those services or tools?
I think they're great services depending on which ones you use. Like, I love the Twitter Adder tool from Lively Browser because they're reputable. They've been around for a few years, and they're all right to use as long as you're using them correctly. Because what they do is, say, for example, you're looking for a keyword, so you're trying to look for people to follow that are in that particular keyword that would be related to your niche, or say that you find an influential person in your niche, you can start following their followers. And so it's a great tool to help, get people in your niche. But once again, you have to use it responsibly so that you space, you can set different intervals and stuff for them to add. So you want to make sure that if you decide to go that route, that you want to use it comes across like a person doing it, not like some robotic thing. And you don't want to use it to add 1 million followers all at once, because once again, your account can get shut down. And number 2, you really want to look at the caliber of people that you're following that will begin following you back, because you're here to develop relationships that ultimately will lead to sales and a long-term connection, not just a bunch of followers that don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally know what you mean. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, I really like this one, how to get killer prospects. So let's start to drill down now. We've laid the foundation. We're finding influential people to follow. We're looking at their followers. We're reaching out to those people as well. Hopefully we're starting to get some reciprocal people that are now following us, like you said, that kind of that 35% or so ratio, of people that you're following will start to follow you, right? But now we want to really start. Now we really want to start to think about how do we begin to really build our business using this, right? In any business, you need qualified prospects, right? And so now we're going to start talking a little bit about how to develop prospects within the Twitter world. And, of course, the first thing that I've got up here is start developing relationships with those followers in your niche, right?
Absolutely. This is absolutely critical, you guys. I don't care if you have 100 followers versus 27,000 followers. It doesn't matter. If you don't develop relationships with your followers, you might as well not waste your time. You know, you're wasting your time. And I'm really blunt about that just because I think Twitter needs to be used as a tool to absolutely, it's important to get your message out, but you need to build relationships. That's what social networking is all about, right? So the way that you start building relationships with followers in your niche is really simple. You start reaching out. You start retweeting their stuff. So if someone puts out a really cool tweet that you like, retweet it out to your followers. You start sending a message to people that you're connecting with and complimenting them on a tweet or asking them questions, you know, or when you're putting out your tweets, ask questions of people. Ask open-ended questions about something that's going on in the news or, you know, if your niche is music, ask a question about a particular, you know, new song that came out. If your niche is gardening, ask a question, you know, about a particular variety of roses you're trying to, you know, create, that because all of your people that are following you and that you're following are going to be in the same niche. So just start developing a relationship. Just think about it like this. Think if you meet someone brand new or you're going out on a date, for example. Now, I'm happily married, but I'm going to use this example, is say that someone asks you out or you ask someone out or you make a new friend and you say, okay, let's go meet at our local Starbucks or, you know, our local Denny's or whatever. And you sit down and you start talking and you start asking questions and you listen and you answer and you just start engaging. It's the same exact thing that you do on Twitter. You really just need to engage your followers and start asking questions and answering and giving good information. Now, I don't know if that's one of your next little slides there, Rick, but I do want to talk about the 80-20% rule. That's really important. Okay?
Yeah, that is coming up. Yeah, that is coming up. The next thing I've got here to talk about in developing that relationship is the retweet factor, right? Is the
right.
magic of retweeting.
Now, this is really critical, and I mentioned this briefly, but let me expand upon this. Retweeting their tweets. So and I'm going to use this. This is a critical, really cool little golden nugget that I will give you. When you begin following influential followers, I would pick like 2 or 3 people that have several thousand followers that are in your niche, and I would start retweeting a lot of their content. Now, of course, you need to make sure that they're good tweets that you're retweeting out to your followers, because here's what will happen. They will start to notice you. They'll say, well, wow, that Sally Joe is always retweeting my stuff. I wonder who she is. They may reach out and start connecting with you and start talking to you, and then pretty soon what you'll find is that they'll start retweeting your stuff. Well, guess what? If Mr. Joe Blow has 50 or 60,000 followers and starts retweeting some of your tweets, don't you think some of his followers are going to start following you? It's a huge way to make your tweets go viral and to really amass a large amount of followers quickly by, building key relationships with other influential people in your niche.
Yeah, absolutely.
A golden rule, too, is, if someone retweets something of yours, always send them a really quick reply that says, thank you for the retweet, okay? Very, very critical. And if people are really doing a great job, you can do the Follow Friday, which is #FF, and then, put their username. Follow Friday is a big thing that every Friday you follow you recommend influential people. So if I get a Follow Friday, it makes me really happy that someone, nominated me for Follow Friday. So that's something else you can do to really build relationships with people, especially influential people in your niche.
And, the one thing that I want to emphasize here, folks, is, Angela is giving out some great content and some great tips. And hopefully you're writing this down. And, of course, we're recording this, so you're going to be able to go back and see the recording. But realize that there's so much information, and she's going to mention things like the Follow Fridays, type thing, right, that some of you may just go, I have no idea what the heck that's all about. Realize that everything that we're talking about here is gone into in great detail in the Twitter Done Right course material, okay? So just understand that we wanted to give you as much as we could in a limited time frame, but all of this information, all of these bullet points, everything that we're talking about here is gone into great detail, and I'll show that to all of you here at the tail end exactly what that is. But just I want you all to understand that don't panic, don't go, I don't really get that. You will get it when you get your hands on the course material. So the next thing up here, Angela, we've got is actually chatting with them. And this is something that I'm not really familiar, and I've really never participated in on Twitter, but there's a whole chat feature that exists within the Twitter platform, right?
Well, right. I mean, it's just as simple. You ask that you just put at someone's Twitter name, and then you do a tweet out to them, and they'll see it, and then they just reply back, and so you can just start chatting. It's just
you notice how? By the way, do you notice, folks? How Angela just kind of said that to me, like I should have known that, and like it's, well, yeah, Rick. It's just as simple. You just put an at symbol in front of their, you said it to them like it's a simple thing. Thank you, Angela, for that clarification. I really appreciate that.
You're so welcome. You guys have
what's
to
the
know.
difference? What's the difference, Angela, between chatting with them and direct messaging them?
Okay, that's a huge difference. Direct message is a private message, okay? A private message meaning no one else can see it out in the Twitter world. Like none of your followers can see it, only directly to that person. Whereas if you just do a reply to with their username, then anyone can see it. So if you're having a really personal chat and you want to use direct message, if you're just chatting about, just whatever, and it's no big deal, then just use the reply to, because the reason that I like direct message, but what has happened in the Twitter world is that spammers have gotten a hold of the direct message feature. So a lot of people don't pay attention to their direct messages as much as they should, just because there's so many spammers out there that use it as a spamming tool. So sometimes your message could get lost in the direct messages. So, typically what I do is I just, if I have something really private and I don't want to direct message it, I just ask for someone's email and then I'll email it to them separately. So when I say chat, I just say reply. Just a quick chat. How are you? What's going on? How's the weather? Kind of chat is what I'm talking about.
Right. But again, this is all part of developing that prospect base, right?
Exactly. That's the whole point, is when you chat with people using the reply to, you're just getting to know them. You're just, carrying on a really polite, fun conversation. It doesn't have to be something super in-depth, but it's just showing interest in someone else.
Yeah. And again, this is when we talk about this, it's no different than what we teach people on Facebook. It's all about building relationships. That's no different here. It's just the approach and the techniques are a little bit different, right?
Well, it is. And the thing that's different between Facebook and Twitter is you have to think of Twitter as more of a text messaging type of relationship or language. So, you have to fit everything into 140 characters. So if you have something long and flowery to say, then, Twitter, you need to shorten it up a little bit. So you have to think of your mind when you're talking on Twitter, make it more of a message type thing like you're on your phone. Versus Facebook, you can be as flowery as you want, type of thing.
Right.
So that's really the difference.
Okay, so now we're developing the relationship. We're having a lot of back and forth. We've developed this mutual trust, and we're developing mutually beneficial relationships, especially when we're retweeting their tweets, etc. We're having conversations with them. Now comes the real magic. Now comes the real, okay, where's the payoff come, Angela? And I think this final bullet point here really talks about that, right?
Right. Well, why don't you read the final bullet point out loud, Rick? I love it when you read it out loud.
Okay. By the way, folks, webinar presentation 101, you never read directly off the slide. You always talk to it. But I'm going to do it this time because Angela asked me to. So really kind of the final key here is you've got to drive these prospects, and you have to do it with great content. And remember, like Angela said, you only have 140 characters to do that. You've got to drive them with great content to an offer page, And that offer page is something that you have off of Twitter, because you can't have any kind of offer page on Twitter. You have it so it's on your blog. More often than not, it's going to be on your blog, your website. You're driving them to a bigger content area like your blog, right, where there is an offer page and there's some kind of opt-in that exists there. So, right?
Exactly. So the way that it works is, and this is why I like to talk about the 80-20 rule. 20% of the time in your tweets, you're going to have an awesome tweet. It's going to have a kind of attention-grabbing, like how-to message or a question or some sort of headline that's really attention-grabbing, and you're going to drive them to your blog or your website that has great content that you're giving them, really good information for people in your niche, but then you're also going to have an opt-in offer somewhere on your blog or on your website. So the whole point here is you're driving traffic back to what we call our central hub, which is your blog/website, and you always have an opt-in form there of some sort so you can capture that traffic, you can capture that prospect so that they can go through your sales funnel. And that is the beginning of capturing someone's information. They go through your sales funnel, and ultimately through an email series of drips, they become a prospect, turns into a sale or a customer, depending on what your business is. Or it could be, if you're a network marketer, it could be, someone to partner with you. But ultimately, This is how you drive traffic from Twitter to a particular place, like a website, where you give them great information. So they're coming there to get some great information, and then you have an opt-in offer. And then a lot of these people will opt into your opt-in offer just because you've given them great content on your blog already.
Right,
and
exactly.
You have a relationship with them.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we're talking about developing prospects at this point. These prospects they're not customers yet, or they aren't partners yet. They're prospects. So just to differentiate here, this last bullet point, we're bringing them to a page that has that option for them to opt into your list. And hopefully, well, not even hopefully, the only way that works, folks, is that you have something of value that you're offering them, and it could be a report, it could be an ebook, it could be your newsletter, it could be any number of things. It's something that has perceived value. It could be a video series. It has perceived value that they are willing to give their name and their email address. Because listen, these days, everybody knows what happens when they give their name and their email address, right? They're part of a list at that point, right? But that they become a prospect. Now, if we start drilling down, right? Which we're going to do in the next few slides. We're going to take them further down the sales pipeline. But until we get to that, here's the one thing that again, Twitter tip number 2, and we've talked about this. It's the 140 character rule, right?
Absolutely. You only can have 140 characters. So like I said, the whole universal Twitter language is all about treating it as an instant message. Now, if you're going to have a link in your Twitter, you can use like the Bitly tool. Actually, if you use like Hootsuite, they have the Owly shortener that allows you to, it will even track your tweets for you to see which ones are getting clicked on the most. But yeah, so you can definitely, you want to shorten your links so you can make, longer tweets. So you have to keep everything, including the URL, within 140 characters.
Angela, you want to give them, I'm going to give you a golden nugget alert, folks. And anytime Angela says she's about to give you a golden nugget, if you aren't writing anything down other than her golden nugget, make sure you write these down. So, Angela, you want to give them the golden nugget, the 120-character golden nugget, and why 120 characters is important for certain things?
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that I will say, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Rick, the golden nugget about 120 characters is this. Say that you write this incredible tweet, and all of a sudden people start retweeting that tweet. Well, guess what happens? When someone retweets something, their username goes on it. Username Sally Joe just retweeted username Angela Giles, and then it gives my tweet. So what happens is your tweet starts to get cut off, the characters. So if you really, really want to make sure, 100% sure, that when your tweet starts to get retweeted and that URL, especially if you have a URL and the tweet doesn't get cut off at the end of the sentence. You want to try to keep your tweets to 120 characters.
Yeah, so you know what? Probably the best advice, especially, again, if you're looking to get your tweets retweeted, say that fast 10 times, by the way, just keep it at 120 characters, because the last thing you would want is for somebody, and especially if that somebody is somebody who's really influential and they have a large number of followers, they send your tweet out, but because it was 140 characters, potentially you've got because what gets cut off, correct me if I'm wrong, Angela, what gets cut off is the link of where you want somebody to go, So it's almost like, what's the point of the retweet then, right?
Absolutely. So, yes, 120 characters, just imprint that in your brain or put that up on your wall when you're doing your tweets. Don't go past 120 characters like a neon light. Yeah,
if you want to just really play it safe, right?
Right, exactly. Okay. Let's move on.
So now, further drilling down, quadrupling your income in 90 days, and of course this is always a good one. And what really starts this process is starting out that foundationally with that good sales funnel, right?
Right. You have to have a good sales funnel. So, Twitter is an awesome tool to drive traffic to your blog or your website, but within that blog or website, you need to have some sort of sales funnel. Where the end result is that as you're driving traffic through that funnel, which starts with a free offer, you're driving traffic via Twitter through your sales funnel. The ultimate goal is you're making a sale, you're gaining a client, and or you're gaining a partner, just depending on what your business is and whatever you want to call it. But that's the ultimate goal. But you have to have a sales funnel. Otherwise, what is the point of driving people anywhere if you don't have a sales funnel in order to capture their information and ultimately make a sale? I mean, that's why we're here.
And a sales funnel is this. We'd already talked about starting that prospect base by creating that opt-in offer, right, on your page. You're giving something away that's free. The minute somebody opts in, it starts the sales funnel, okay? So when they click that submit button, after they put their name and their email address, depending on where you want them to go at that point, that starts the sales funnel. If you set it up the right way, they are now in a autoresponder series. So if you're using GetResponse or Aweber or MailChimp or whatever you're using, that starts that sales process. So those emails that are part of your autoresponder start moving that sales funnel. And it could be any number of things. Your sales funnel, it could be like what we're doing here, like a webinar. It could be another free piece of information. It could be another video. I've seen people where they'll do like, Angela, you're an example, where you've got a 7-video series, and basically the autoresponder emails are the videos. So every couple of days, or every day, your prospects get that new email with the new video. So they start, they get video 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So that's the sales funnel.
Well, exactly. And the other thing, too, like, say, for example, I know that some of my clients are like networkers, MLMs, things like that. A lot of times with their sales pages, they just have a company-replicated website that has an opt-in offer, and then the company sets up emails that go out, every day to their prospects. So it's the same thing. It does not matter what your business is. You just need some sort of sales funnel set up.
Right, absolutely. Okay, and then again, we've already talked about having a solid free offer to drive prospects to. That's the key. Otherwise, what's the point? Nobody's just going to give you their name and their email address just because you ask for it. You have to have something of perceived value that you're offering them in return for their name and their email address, right? And you're using, I love the 80-20. Here's the 80-20 formula here, Angela, talking about the tweets that you're sending out to your prospect base, to your followers, right? So why don't you talk about the 80-20 rule here?
Okay, this is really important. When you set up your Twitter campaigns, you need to think about it like this. 80% of your tweets that go out to your followers need to be good, content-rich tweets. So whether you're tweeting them out like a golden nugget, a really key piece of advice, you're tweeting them to your blog that has a great brand new article or a great video on something that will help them. Or say you're tweeting them out to someone else's blog or something that has a great article or something on it that you just found out about. Whatever quote, whatever it is that pertains to your niche, it's got to be really good, solid content. Because here's why. Once you provide 80% of your tweets as good, solid content, you come across as an expert. You start building your own reputation. So your followers will start looking to you and really looking forward to your tweets. They'll really start listening to what you have to say or what they see on your tweet. So it's really critical that you develop that by making sure that 80% of your tweets are really content driven and it's good content. So that's why they say content is king. Now, 20% of your tweets need to be about your product and your service. So don't be afraid to, share your business, share your free offer, etc. But only do that 20% of the time, because you don't want to be a spammer to someone that just puts their link out there. That's not going to get you anywhere. You need to have both. You need to have follow that rule, that 20/10, that 20/80 rule is really critical. And that is why. And so you develop yourself as an expert. And so when you're doing those 20% of your tweets out about your business or your free offer, they're going to jump on it. People will actually jump on that offer, and they're going to sign up, and they're going to want to know, well, what do you have to offer me? And you'll get a lot more prospects that way, and you'll really build up your list quickly.
Yep, absolutely. And then I like this one. This one's always fun. And, Angela, I know you really love contests. Contests are a great way to get people involved, and really it is part of the sales funnel, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, run contests, offer something to someone, this is what I love to do. I offer an hour of free coaching or something like that. We can run contests of all kinds of sorts. I mean, you can think of anything to run a contest for, but just really drive the interest, of people. And then you give away something that's perceived value. And it's different for everybody because everybody has a different business. And we'll talk about that too. I mean, definitely I'm going to be available so you guys can chat with me one-on-one and we can talk about your business and what would be a good content and things like that to drive it. But you just have to keep in mind that you have 90-day cycles. All of this is done in 90-day cycles, and you just start planting seeds at the very beginning of your 90-day cycle and start developing relationships and running contests. Doing joint ventures is another great tool, doing the 80-20 rule, and you can seriously quadruple your income easily in 90 days. I don't care what your business is, if you really just take these golden tips and put them to use. And, of course, I have a lot more of those in my Twitter Done Right course, but these are some good solid ones you can start with.
Yeah, I could have done probably 6 or 7 slides here, folks, but we had to narrow it down to the one. So, moving right along, though, Angela, here is my Twitter tip number 3. And for those of you that don't know what this means, this is a hashtag. It's called a hashtag. And, Angela, let people know what a hashtag is and what's the function of a hashtag. I think for a lot of people it's kind of a, it's a mystery, and it gets talked about a lot.
Okay, well, a hashtag, this is the way I try to use this example. Say, for example, when I love Whitney Houston, and Whitney Houston passed away. Well, I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it with other people and find out what other people were saying. So what you can do is use a hashtag. So what I did is I went on Twitter and I looked at what the trending, hashtags were. And, one of the hashtags was Whitney Houston or Whitney Houston death. So what I do is I can go to a place called Twitter Chat, and I can put in that particular hashtag, Whitney Houston, and then I can see at any given time anybody else that has in their tweet the hashtag Whitney Houston will show up in that chat, and it's kind of like this rolling, stream, and you can see what everybody's saying. So it's a good way to centralize something, a particular topic you want to talk about that's going on in the world. Or another use for a hashtag could be, say, for example, that you're hosting an online Twitter chat. So say that I wanted to host a Twitter chat for all my friends that wanted to learn more about Twitter. I could give them a hashtag, Angela's Twitter chat. So hashtag Angela Twitter chat. So everybody's going to come on at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday night, you go to Twitter chat, you put that hashtag in, and then you start asking questions, and I'm answering the questions, and anybody with that hashtag in their tweet can see what's going on. So it's just a way of keeping track of the conversation about that particular topic. So that's basically what a hashtag is, and it's a great tool to, group tweets together about a particular topic. Essentially, is what it's used for.
Okay, great. So finally, how to create better connections, and these are the three targets that we talk about when we're talking about creating better connections. Better connections with your customers and prospects. Better connections with your JV partners or potential JV partners. Better connections with your business associates, and probably one of the first things, and we talked about this already, Angela, retweeting their tweets. And here we're talking about retweeting their tweets like crazy, right? I mean, that gets people's attention.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I have 28,000 followers as of this afternoon on my Twitter account, and I am telling you, that's just one of my Twitter accounts, by the way. But when someone retweets me all the time, I pay attention. I want to know who they are, and I start to talk to them because, it's flattering. It's cool. I like it. And
I'll tell you something. For anybody that's serious about Twitter and using Twitter as a platform for their business and as part of the social media mix, this is one of the areas from an analytics standpoint that you pay attention to is retweets, right? This is something that you really pay attention to. Who is retweeting your stuff?
Absolutely. I mean, it's very critical. And the cool thing is I want to add one little golden nugget here, you guys. So write this down. There's some really key timing involved too to any type of tweeting, but retweets during these times are really good, and you'll see that it will help your tweets go viral. And some of the times are noon, like noon time is really critical. And if you think about it, if you're in the United States and Canada, 80% of the population is, is the East Coast area. So if you're thinking about time frames, even with my own Twitter account, even though I'm Pacific Standard Time, I have it set in Eastern Standard Time, so I can do everything then. And then another great time to tweet is between 5 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the weekdays, like Monday through Friday. And then the weekends, of course, you have a lot of people on Twitter. So if you're doing retweets, those are the best times to do them, is noon and between 5 and 9 p.m., all Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, great. That was another very good tip. Ask open questions. Now, what do you mean by ask open questions, Angela?
Well, like, for example, my niche is helping people really, get themselves out there, get their brands out there, or lead generation. So I may ask a question, what is your most troubling area to get, or what is your, let me rephrase that. Where do you find that you need the most help in lead generation might be one of them. Or what is the most frustrating thing to you about Twitter? What is something that you find holds you back from success? Open-ended questions. So instead of someone saying yes or no, they're a question that they will, elaborate on, so then you can have a dialogue. If you just have a closed-in question, people say yes or no, then it's harder to establish a dialogue.
Absolutely. And this is so key in creating a much better connection and creating a much stronger relationship, because this really promotes engagement. We use this a lot, obviously, in Facebook, and we teach this a lot in Facebook. The only way that you're ever going to get true engagement with your prospects is to have a conversation. And the only way that you're ever going to have a conversation is by asking questions. So same thing here with Twitter, right?
Absolutely. And the cool thing is you can ask an open-ended question to everybody. So I have 27,000 followers. I can ask one question and get a whole bunch of answers.
Right. Absolutely.
I can start.
And again,
go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is if I ask one open-ended question and I get 21 responses, that means I have 21 people that I can start now having conversations with and building a relationship with. That's why you want a lot of followers on Twitter, but keep in mind they have to be ideal customers, your ideal client. So open-ended questions are absolutely incredible. They're a great way to start developing a relationship because you can start chatting back and forth with a whole bunch of different people all at once.
Right, absolutely. And of course, we've talked about direct messages. It's obviously direct messages pointed at certain, especially if you're trying to develop JV partners or tie in with certain business associates. That's a key piece. But again, there is a challenge with direct messages on Twitter because of the the spamming problem still.
So, and if you feel like your message isn't getting through, just ask for an email, and then you can start your.
So I mean, you could really think of a direct message even that way too, by simply just requesting an email and sending it that way. Okay, just to kind of wrap this one up, obviously providing great content is absolutely key here, and we've talked about that before as well, right? But providing great content is paramount.
Absolutely, 100%. You have to provide great content. You will not get people, even if you have 27,000 followers, but you're not giving good content, why waste your time? Once again, it's about giving great content to people 80% of the time, 20% of the time sharing your business. They will jump on it. And number 2, developing that relationship by chatting with them, asking open-ended questions, and retweeting. Some of the content could be latest news in your niche, so you could set up like a Google alert. That's another great golden nugget, so that in your email box you get everyday things that are going on in the news about your niche, or you could go to Yahoo News or Google News and find little, snippets of news that relate to your niche. You can share those. You can share quotes. You can share other people's blogs. There's all kinds of things that you can share. The other thing that's critical here, and absolutely critical, is that you're real. You need to be genuine. If you have a dry sense of humor, then have a dry sense of humor on Twitter. If you're funny, be funny. If you're quiet and laid back, put yourself out there a little bit, but don't change who you are. Just be yourself. Absolutely. Don't be a fake. I can't stand that. Just be yourself. And I'm a mom. I've got 3 boys. My life is crazy. I sit on my bed, you guys, and work from my bed. I love my bed. I have a king-size bed, and I've got 2 mangy dogs that lay on the bed with me, and I work, and I love it. That's my life. And I'm real, and I'm here, and I want you guys to be real in here and be yourself and enjoy it. It's just how it is, and that's what you need to be on social media and on Twitter. Be yourself, and you'll find that it will just make your business huge. And then promote them on Twitter. Promote other people on Twitter is what I mean by that. So if you make friends with Sally Jo Smith, and she's a great person that has these great recipes for shakes, and you're all into health and wellness, and promote her. Tell your followers to go check her out. If you have a friend that's really good at gardening, then your followers are interested in that, then promote them. Because you know what? If you're promoting other people, it's called pay it forward. Someone else in return is going to promote you. I guarantee you, and it's going to work. And then once again, use Twitter chat, which is, just replying back and forth to get people engaged. Just always be engaging people. And if you have your time is limited, then just spend, 15 minutes a day just engaging people and really talking to people. That's okay. Just try to pick a time when people are on there the most, which is 5 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when most people are tweeting. And that's just, the bulk of people. It doesn't have to necessarily apply to you. It depends on what your business is too, but just, you'll have to figure that out based on your business. Okay, so here we are. It's 5 minutes to the top of the hour. I knew it was going to be a challenge trying to keep Angela somewhat corralled with all of this great information that's in her head. And Angela's the type of person that just likes to just dump it all out at one time. So I'm happy that we kind of got through what we wanted to talk about tonight. There's been some fantastic content. There's been a lot of stuff that we've stuffed into. This has been, super content rich at this point. What I want to do at this point, Angela, is I want to drill down on what people can and we've already talked about Twitter tip number 4. You talked about scheduling, the way to schedule most of your tweets and retweets, right? So I'll kind of skip over that. But let's talk a little bit about what they're going to get in the Twitter Done Right course, okay? This is what you get. What I have up here on the screen is I've actually got the table of contents for just the ebook portion of this. There's actually a lot more to this, just the ebook portion of this. There's so much information that, of course, we didn't provide tonight. What we did tonight was just kind of top level. We touched on it.
There's so much information here on drilling down, even more so than what we were talking about tonight. And it really goes into some really, really good detail. So there's a lot of solid content here, first and foremost, in kind of the, I'm calling it the ebook, but it's more, to me, it's more like a workbook. It's more like a workbook, like a course workbook is what this really is. So this kind of starts it out, is this. This lays the foundation. But then what you've decided to do is you've decided to add these two bonus items, which to me makes this whole deal. The first one is the video series. You want to talk a little bit about what the video series is all about, Angela?
Absolutely. What the video series is about Hootsuite, because Hootsuite is what I use to track all my metrics and really to set up a fabulous Twitter campaign. You need a way to track your metrics, and I use Hootsuite, and so those go through the two different absolutely high-level metrics that I use within Hootsuite. So those are the video series. And, I may even add some more just for fun because I like making videos, but I gave you two really good ones right there for bonus number one.
Right, exactly. And again, Hootsuite is an absolutely free-to-use tool, and that's something that Angela does talk about in the Twitter Done Right workbook and how to get that set up, et cetera. But it is a free tool. But these videos drill down even further on exactly how to use Hootsuite. And what it can do for you in creating Twitter campaigns and tracking those campaigns. And then bonus number two is the super exciting part here, and that's really your 90-day inner circle coaching. Talk about how that's going to work.
Okay, so what it's going to do is this. You're going to get access to my 90-day inner circle training, and what we're going to do is we're going to start that on April 11th. It's all going to be recorded. You get a special registration link, and we're going to take you step-by-step we're going to hold your hand, and we're going to get you, our goal is to get you to 20,000 ideal followers in 90 days. Now, once again, you're going to put the work in, but we're going to coach you there, okay? So we're going to go through not only everything we talked about in this webinar tonight, we're going to go through everything in the Twitter Done Right course, and then, of course, I'll have little tips and tricks for you to use for your specific business in this Twitter Done Right Inner Circle coaching. So we're going to give that to you too as part of this course.
Absolutely. But wait a minute. It just got a little bit better because we've got a webinar only bonus. And this is really for those of you that are here tonight, first 25 who sign up, right? This is one-on-one coaching. And let me tell you what the one-on-one coaching is all about. This is a half hour, okay, a half-hour coaching with you focused on specifically on your business and how to get the most out of Twitter, how to create a campaign and get the most out of Twitter for your particular business. And this is a one-on-one coaching piece. Nobody else is around. It's you and Angela or you and myself, and it's one-on-one coaching. First 25 who sign up. Tremendous value here that we're adding with this, Angela.
Well, not only that, you guys, I charge $150 an hour just to coach with me for 1 hour for anything. So, to get coaching with me one-on-one as part of my Twitter Inner Circle is huge. But the reason I decided to do this, that it was really important, and Rick and I talked about this, is because I really believe that you need that in order to really know who your ideal client is. You can go out and start adding followers, et cetera, but most people don't understand how to define who their ideal client is. And in order to be successful with Twitter, you really need to understand who your ideal client is, because that's who ultimately is going to purchase your products and services or go in business with you. So I think it's important that we have that one-on-one coaching so I can understand what your business is and help you figure out who that is, and then set up a strategic Twitter campaign. So that's why we decided to do this.
Absolutely. So here's what it boils down to. You've got the Twitter Done Right workbook. Okay, that's the actual guide that you've got in your hands. It's got step-by-step. It's got all of that content that I showed you earlier. You've got those two added bonuses, which is the video series on Hootsuite and how to get the most out of that, the 90-day coaching program that's going to be every other week, getting together for about an hour. It's going to be a webinar-type format. That's going to be unbelievable content there. And then for the first 25 who sign up, one-on-one coaching, actually scheduling a one-on-one appointment to take a look at your business and give you, some specific ideas and tips strictly for your business. So now, all of that, Angela and I went back and forth on this, and I argued and argued and argued, and Angela said, no, I only want to charge this certain amount, and I said, that's way too little. That's ridiculous. She says, no, we're going to do that because I just think I want to be able to have anybody who wants it to be able to get it. And so here's the price that Angela made me do it. The total value, the total value is way over $297. $297 is if we didn't throw in the one-on-one coaching, okay? $97 for the entire package. All of the coaching, all of the videos, right? All of that.
Yep.
Were you going to say something, Angela?
I just said that's a 3-month deal. It's 90 days worth of coaching. So I think it's affordable to anybody that's really serious about getting their Twitter account up there.
No, it's more than affordable. It's ridiculous. And it's one time. There is no ongoing monthly cost or fee on this. You can see that the web address here at the bottom of the screen, right? AngelaAGiles.com. So AngelaAGiles.com/blog/Twitter-done-right. Okay? We're going to send an email out that'll have this information on it anyway. But for those of you that really want to jump on that offer and make sure you're part of that first 25 to get the one-on-one coaching, my advice would be that you write this web address down and you get there as quickly as possible before we send the email out and then everybody starts jumping on it. So, again, write down that web address, AngelaGiles.com, AngelaGiles.com/blog/Twitter-done-right. Just like you see it there on the screen. That'll take you there. That'll take you to the offer. You can get that right now, and also it's going to take you to a page to get immediately signed up for the 90-day coaching that, as Angela said, starts on April the 11th. So with that, I know there's been some questions. Angela and I will get to those questions offline, and we'll actually either create a video to answer those questions, or we'll just email you with the answer to whatever question you had. So we will get to those. Angela, any final words from you before we wrap it up?
No, I'm just really excited about it. I'm excited to get you guys there, to actually have you use Twitter as a tool, help you make money with Twitter as a tool for your business. And I'm just excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll just see you guys on April 11th.
Awesome. All right, Angela, thanks a lot for your time. Everybody, thanks for being here tonight. And we will hopefully see you all on the inside. Good night, everybody.